Aujourd'hui, une grande journée.
Today was a great day in the life of Elizabeth II, who is celebrating 60 years on the throne. And it's also kicking off a year of celebrations to mark the Diamond Jubilee. To understand the importance of this event, I decided to invite Mr. Benoit Pelletier, constitutional law professor at the University of Ottawa. Welcome. Thank you. How do you assess the importance of such an event? Is it grandiose? Is it medium importance? Well, it's grandiose because it's going to be marked in all, in the 16 countries of the world where Elizabeth II is head of state, as well as in other Commonwealth countries where she's not the head of state, but where she's still part of this great international association called the Commonwealth. And it will be marked in many countries. It's a great event, and it's going to coincide because it's going to be celebrated in the summer, in June, and it will virtually coincide with the Olympic Games. So it's going to be a great year for London, England, and for Great Britain, and for the United Kingdom overall. During the speeches in the last few hours, the Prime Minister of Britain said that those who say that the monarchy is just a decorative piece they're really just betraying ignorance of our constitution. If they say that in Great Britain, does it apply to Canada? Well, the role of the monarch is still symbolic. We can't deny that. But in the UK, Her Majesty has a greater influence than what the Canadian government has in Canada, meaning that Her Majesty constantly meets with the British Prime Minister to discuss current events. So there is close contact there between Her Majesty, the Queen, and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. But it's not the case in Canada because the Governor General meets with the Prime Minister of Canada less frequently, and his role is more secondary across the territory of Canada compared with the role of Her Majesty, the Queen, in the United Kingdom. But we shouldn't get frightened and start thinking that suddenly we have a new power here in the state. I have always felt that there is a zone of influence attached to the monarchy without talking about power per se. It is a zone of influence that is attached to the role of the Queen and the role of the Governor General, and to a lesser extent to the role of the lieutenant governors in the provinces. At the time of the patriation of the Canadian Constitution, I was under the impression that our ties with the monarchy were almost behind us, with the Queen. So was there a debate at the time as to whether we should completely sever ties? Not at all. In fact, I think the polls have always shown that a majority of Canadians were attached to the monarchy and to its continuation. And many Canadians are still in favor of maintaining ties with the monarchy, and those who want to abolish the monarchy would like to do so only after Queen Elizabeth II is gone, and that tells you a lot about her popularity. And after 60 years on the throne, she's never been as popular as she is today. She is well liked and she's highly esteemed. And even polls taken in Canada show that Canadians who want the monarchy abolished would love to do so only after Elizabeth II. That says a lot. In Quebec, though, is the perception different? Yes, in Quebec there is actually some kind of indifference that has taken root over the years as far as the British royal family is concerned. But there is less hostility and probably even less opposition now. So there has been progress there for the royal family. It's not all positive. There is not, love is not breaking out all over Quebec, but there is indifference which is different from contempt. For a long time there was contempt for that family, but we feel that things have settled down a bit. When she speaks, the weight of her words, do they influence things to an extent? In the UK, yes, of course. In Canada's case, the weight is a lot less. But the role played by the monarchy in the UK is non-negligible. The importance of her words and her actions, that does carry weight. The importance of that is manifest. In the case of Canada, it's less true. But the fact remains that the government of Canada they've decided to focus on the British royal family. We saw that through various gestures carried out by the current Canadian government. It shows that the current Canadian government has shown that the British royalty, British monarchy, and the current family is part of Canada's identity. Have you noticed that the government is no longer talking about multiculturalism and is trying to redefine Canada through different values? And amongst those new values, one of them is not really all that new. We've had this for a long time, and it has belonged to us for a long time, but they're dusting it off and reinvigorating it, and I'm talking about the British monarchy. Millions of dollars will be invested. They're talking about $3.5 million for the medals. Is that overdone, or is that part of what the government should be spending? Because the government will continue to take action. Well, as a state, as a country that is respected across the world, a medium power on the international scene, well, you can afford a few expenditures to affirm an aspect of your characteristic.